What's up, everybody? It is Most Hated Chapo back with another video. Today we're going to be doing story time. If you guys enjoy story times, just let me know, leave a like. But yeah, today's story time is going to be about when this meth head named Stanley left some meth in our car. Yeah, let's get into it. So today, or this day, was a nice June day. It was my birthday. Bert hit me up and he was like, "Yo, let's get turned for your birthday. Let's smoke some weed. Let's just chill out, play some games." And so that's what we did. He ended up picking me up and we went back to his crib. I just remember rolling up some fucking doinker blunts. And after after we rolled up, we started playing the game. Uh, I'm pretty sure this dude only had Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, so I'm pretty sure we were playing some Battlefield. And so we were just chilling there, me and Bert, just playing some Battlefield. And it's about like two 2 hours in from us hanging out, probably like 5:36, and Brandon gets a call, and it's Stanley. Stanley calls him, and Stanley would constantly just hit us up and pay us like $20 to take him like 5 minutes down the road. So it was a common occurrence for Stanley hitting us up and needing a ride. So Stanley hits Bert up, and we end up giving him a ride. And so we go pick up Steve, hop in the car, pick up Steve. We're smoking along the way. And once we get to Steve, his girlfriend's there too. So we end up being deep as absolute shit in the car because they have a baby. So it's him, the baby, me, Brandon, and his wife, or girlfriend, whatever they were. And so we go from his crib, and he said that he needed, it was like cat litter or cat food. So we were like, where do you want to go? Like, what store? Whatever. So then we go to Dollar General, and he says they're out. So then he, quote unquote, calls his aunt, and his aunt magically just has some cat food for him. So we drive like 5 minutes, 10 minutes on the road to his aunt's crib, which, keep in mind, his aunt's crib is in the middle of just straight crack land. So, crack and meth land. So, yeah. We were in the middle of fucking meth central Ohio. And he goes into his aunt's crib. Uh, Stanley goes into his aunt's crib. And he's taking forever. We're just chilling in the car. About like 30 minutes or so, I say go by. And then we're like, bro, where's Stanley? Stanley's taking fucking ages to get out here. So me and Brandon start talking, and then Brandon ends up getting out the car and going towards the window, because we were in the driveway, and like the way we were on the driveway, we were pointing like towards, there's a fence to our left and there's a fence in front of us, and then to our right was like the start of the house, like the side of the house, and like we were parked towards the start. And if you went to the right, it'd be their front door. If you went straight, it's like their side window going to their backyard, right? So we're just chilling there, and Bert Bert gets out and he goes up to the side window, and he's looking through the window to see if like he could see Steve, and he happens to see Steve holding a handful of meth. So he yells, "Steve, like, come on, take it forever. Like, we got shit to do." And so Steve hurries up, hurries up, hurries up. He gets in the car. We end up taking Steve to like Speedway to get a lighter or something. That's beyond the point. I grabbed myself a Rebel because I'm obsessed with the yellow Rebels. The bitches are absolutely fire. And so I get my Rebel. He gets his lighter. And so we go back like another 10 minutes and drop Stanley off at his crib. And once we take Stanley back, we go back to Bert's. And we're just chilling at Bert's. Roll up, start smoking, just chilling out, just having a good time playing Battlefield, right? And our friend, what are we gonna call him? Our friend Terrence, he hits us up. He's like, "Yo, what are y'all doing tonight?" And we're like, "Not shit." And so Terrence is like, "I'll be free, like hour, 2 hours," because it was like 7:30 at this point. And so we're like, "Bet, just let us know, and we'll come swoop you," because he lives over by my crib. So uh, time goes by, time goes by. We go pick up Terrence, and uh, when we pick up Terrence, we're sitting in his driveway, and I call up my friend. We're gonna call Rocky. I call up Rocky, and uh, Rocky was like, "Yo, what's up?" And I just tell him like, "Yo, I'm with Terrence and Bert. Like, what are you doing? You want to link?" And he's like, "Yeah, you just gotta come out to me. My car's broken." So we end up that's our plan. We end up going like 30 minutes out to our friend named Rocky's. And but before that, we were leaving Terrence's, right? And we're still in the middle of a neighborhood going down side roads. And we get to the side road like right before like one of the main streets that go towards another main street to get to where you need to go, like highway and all that. And so we're on that side road, and Brandon gets a call, and Brandon picks it up. It's Stanley, and Stanley, damn, my water just dropped off my desk, and Stanley's talking to him, and I just look over at Brandon, and Brandon's this face just drops, like he's just going through like pure just I don't even know what type of emotions. I could just tell he was going through it. So he hangs up the phone, and he looks over at me and Terrence, and he's like, "Stanley just called, and he said that there was a hole in his bag of meth, and that it's more than likely in the whip because he does not have it." So we park up on the side of this side street, and we're scavenging this car. We're going like top to bottom, fucking everywhere. We searched this whole car like we were detailing it. Under seats, fucking in between cracks, in between the seats, anywhere in a car that can physically there can physically be something, we searched, right? And we could not find it. So we called back Stanley, and we're like, "Yo, I don't know what to tell you, buddy, but like we cannot find the piece of meth you dropped." Like, what? And Stanley's all pissed, and we're like, "I don't know what to tell you, bub. Like, you fucking took an L, cause well, we took an L too, cause there's a piece of fucking meth in our car somewhere that we cannot find." But yeah, Stanley's just all mad, and he hangs up. And that's the end of Stanley. We we end up going back to Bert's crib, and we chill. We wait for Rocky to be ready, and once Rocky's ready, we we go like 30 minutes out uh, to this pretty decent sized town. And once we get to that town, we end up going to Rocky's. Rocky pops out. He's like, "Yo, what are y'all trying to do?" And we're like, "Well, it's not too bad out. Like, is there any dams or anything around? Like, why don't we just go see nature?" And he's like, "Yeah, there's a dam, and there's actually like this little cliff." And so we end up going we end up going to the dam, and it's just these back just back roads, middle of nothing. Like it's scary. We're spooked. We're like, "Rocky, where you taking us, bro?" And then this dude, if I could find the video, I'll show the video and I'll block out their faces. But this dude literally has us pull over in the middle of fucking nowhere. It is literally just this tiny little gravel spot meant for like 2, 3 cars off a road, and all you see is just grass and trees around you. And it is the most sketchy thing ever because it is almost completely dark out at this point. So then we end up just like dumbasses. I don't know why we did this, bro. I would have been tweaked out today. But we end up walking through this grass, and he's like, the cliff's over here. It's like a mini, like probably like I'd say like 15, 20 foot cliff. He's like, it's over there. I'm like, bet. So we end up walking over there, and we we go to roll up, uh, and we didn't have shit to roll up on. So I'm sitting here with like my phone on my lap. Uh, Rocky's got his phone on his lap. Terrence got his phone on his lap, and Bert's got his phone on his lap. Like, we're all struggling. And I grab out probably like a 1-2 for a blunt, and I sat my baggie down just so I could like set everything down, and so I could close the bag, right, and like tuck the bag in my pocket or whatever, like, so I didn't lose anything. But next thing we know, there's this the most random, powerful gust of wind physically possible, and it takes a whole eighth off the cliff, and that was lost that eighth. I have not seen that eighth since. And this man, fucking Rocky, was sitting there trying to like scale the mountain, like, nah, we can get this, bro. It's not that steep. It's not that steep. And bro almost slipped, and like, if he would have slipped and he would have fell, bro, it would have been over. It was just straight rocks for like 20 feet. But yeah, we end up just smoking and taking that L, and we go back. We go back to the car. We end up walking that treacherous path through the grass. These tall ass grass. I don't know how we didn't get a tick, but we walk through these tall ass past the grass. We go back to the car, and we go back to Rocky's, and we drop him off. It's probably like 12 at this point. We drop Rocky off, and we were heading back to where Bert lives, and Terrence is like, "Yo, gotta spend the night with you. Like, it's already late." And Bert's like, "Sure, like, I don't care." So then we end up hitting this McDonald's, or I mean, not McDonald's, Taco Bell. We end up hitting this Taco Bell, and that was probably some of the best food I ever had. That was the first time I ever tried the Crunchwrap Supreme. That shit was absolutely fucking gas. But yeah, Bert ended up selling that car maybe about 2 weeks later to an old lady for like $500-600, and all I hope is that an old lady did not get caught up with some meth when the dogs went around her car. She ever got pulled over and the dogs went around her car, because I would feel so bad, because that would be literally our fault, you know. This man Bert, he would always buy $250 cars, and like, he didn't have his license because his dad didn't have his license, and in my state, your dad has to sign off for you to be able to get your licensing. So he didn't have his license, and he would always get these like $250 cars, and he got this Blazer, and this Blazer ended up having like, I'd say like 200,000 miles on it or so. This mid-sized Chevy Blazer, probably like '04, '03 Chevy Blazer, and he's down the street. He's not even like coming to pick me up or anything, and he's talking about like, "Yo, my engine's smoking. Do you have any oil at your crib?" And I'm like, "Shit, we probably have some form of oil." And so he ends up pulling up to my crib, and I'm looking for oil in my garage. The only oil I find is some OW30, and he's like, "Fuck it, any oil is better than no oil, right?" And I put probably like two quarts or whatever the big size like things of oil is. I put like 2 quarts of oil in this dude's engine. And when I tell you the car would not turn over, the car would not turn over at all. It would like it, and then he had to put full throttle down and start it to be able to start the car. And he puts it in reverse, and he's flooring it. Like, you can hear the engine trying to move, but it won't move. And the only thing that's pulling him backwards is gravity. And so he gets out of my driveway and he goes to take off. and this dude's car is going nowhere. I'm talking, it's going like 2 miles, maybe like, it's getting like 2 miles per hour every like 5 seconds. Like, it takes him a half mile to get up to the speed limit of 35. And it was just so funny, because like, this dude was literally just okay with frying his engine with probably the worst oil you could physically put in a car, because that oil was literally uh meant for my mom's minivan at the time. Uh, that Caravan. It's a Dodge Caravan. That's what the OW30 went to. But that same car that same Chevy Blazer, maybe 2 months later, he ended up totaling that bitch. And how he totaled it was, he was going probably like 50, like 45, 50 down a back road. And hold on, let me take a hydration break. And he was flying down this back road, and he was coming up to a stop sign. He's probably like a quarter of a mile away from the stop sign, right? And he goes to hit the brakes, and meanwhile, the only thing that really works in this car is the e-brake, not so much the normal brake. So yanking the e-brake, he's yanking the e-brake down with his foot, because it's one of those foot e-brakes that you also release with your left foot, and he's hitting the brake, and all he hears is a clunk clunk, and that was his brake line. His brake line fell out of his car. Like, the bottom of his car, his brake line was so rusted, it literally just dropped from under his car. And it was either he goes through the stop sign and basically T-bone the absolute shit out of some person, because there's someone at the stop sign going through it, or he goes off the road into a tree. So he picked off the road into the tree and totaled the fuck out of his car. And since he didn't have his license, luckily the lady cop that pulled up was was pretty nice and gave him a lot of lenience, and didn't charge him for driving unsuspended. She only gave him like reckless driving and like a bunch of other things. And she just said that if she saw him driving again in that car, or like driving any car in general, like without a license, then she'd have to do something about it. But yeah, she just gave him a few fines and sent him on his way. He got really lucky. But yeah, everybody, I hope you enjoyed the story time about my friend Bert and his $250 cars, and a meth head leaving meth in our car because he had a hole in his bag. But yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed. Please leave a like and please subscribe, and let me know if I should do more story times. Thank y'all.